In one single day, more men died in a Pennsylvania cornfield than America lost on D-Day. No campaign. No siege. 24 hours. This is a list of the worst single days in the history of warfare, measured not by who won, but by how many never went home. 5 of them ranked. This is the verdict. War is usually measured in years, campaigns, sieges, wars that grind on for months. But some of the worst carnage in human history happened in a single sunrise to sunset. No time to retreat, regroup, or reconsider. Just slaughter, compressed into one day. Today we're ranking the 5 deadliest single days in military history, from ancient encirclements to the birth of the atomic age, by the number of lives lost in 24 hours. Some of these you've heard of, one of them most people haven't. All 5 changed how the world thought about what one day of war could do. Number 5, the Battle of Towton, March 29, 1461. Snow. Not rain, snow, driven sideways by wind, so hard that archers on one side couldn't see their targets. This was Towton, Yorkshire, during England's Wars of the Roses. Roughly 50,000 men lined up on a plateau outside a small village, and by nightfall as many as 28,000 of them were dead. That number matters because of scale. England's entire population in 1461 was a fraction of what it is today. Towton alone may have killed close to 1% of the country's able fighting-age men in a single afternoon. Survivors described a stream nearby, running red for days, later renamed Bloody Meadow. There was no reprieve for the losing side. Medieval battles rarely ended in clean surrender. When the Lancastrian line broke, the retreat became a massacre, cut down at a river crossing with nowhere left to run. The verdict. The deadliest single day of medieval warfare in English history, and most people have never heard of it. Number 4, the Battle of Cannae, August 2nd, 216 BC. Hannibal Barca did not win Cannae. He engineered it. Facing a Roman army nearly twice the size of his own, Hannibal arranged his center to bend backward under Roman pressure, deliberately, while his flanks and cavalry swept around and closed the trap from behind. By the time the Romans realized what was happening, there was nowhere to go. Modern historians estimate between 50 and 70,000 Roman soldiers died in that single encirclement, a death toll ancient sources compare to entire wars, compressed into hours. Cannae is still taught in military academies today, not because of how many died, but because of how it happened. Total encirclement of a larger force by a smaller one. Every double envelopment maneuver in modern warfare, including tactics used well into the 20th century, traces its lineage back to this one bloody afternoon in southern Italy. The verdict? The single deadliest day of the ancient world, and the blueprint for annihilation warfare ever since. Number 3, the Battle of Antietam, September 17, 1862. This is the deadliest single day in American military history. Full stop. More Americans died at Antietam, Maryland, in 12 hours than died on D-Day. And more than died in the War of 1812, the Mexican-American War and the Spanish-American War combined. Roughly 23,000 men were killed, wounded, or went missing along a single winding creek and a sunken farm road that soldiers would later simply call Bloody Lane. Confederate General Robert E. Lee's invasion of the North was stopped here. Barely, and the tactical draw gave President Lincoln the political opening he needed to issue the Emancipation Proclamation 5 days later. One battlefield photographer arrived within days and captured the bodies before burial. The first time the American public saw photographic evidence of what a battlefield actually looked like, rather than a painted glorification. Antietam didn't just kill more Americans in one day than any battle before or since. It changed how America looked at war. And the verdict. The bloodiest day in American history, and the day photography stripped away the romance of war for good. Number 2. The first day of the Battle of the Somme, July 1st, 1916. 19,240 British soldiers were dead before the sun set. Add in the wounded and missing, and the British Army suffered close to 57,000 casualties in a single day. The worst single day in the history of the British Army, before or since. The plan was simple on paper. A week-long artillery bombardment to shred German barbed wire and bunkers, followed by an infantry advance that would simply walk across no man's land and take the German trenches. The bombardment failed to do its job. German machine gunners emerged from deep dugouts that had survived the shelling entirely intact, and they opened fire on men walking, not running, across open ground in broad daylight. Entire volunteer battalions, men who had enlisted together from the same towns, the same streets, the same football clubs, were wiped out in minutes. Britain would go on to fight the Somme offensive for another 4.5 months. None of those later days came close to matching the horror of the first. The verdict, therefore, is that it is regarded as the worst single day in British military history, and one of the clearest proofs that industrial age firepower had made 19th century infantry tactics a death sentence. And the number one worst single day is without a doubt the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, August 6, 1945. Every entry on this list came from soldiers fighting soldiers. This one didn't. At 8:15 in the morning, a single bomb detonated over a city of roughly 350,000 people. Estimates vary, but somewhere between 70 and 80,000 people were killed instantly or within hours, and that number climbed toward 140,000 by the end of that year alone, as burns, radiation sickness, and injury took their toll. This wasn't a battlefield. It was a city, homes, schools, hospitals, streets full of civilians going about a Monday morning, erased in the time it takes to read this sentence aloud. One aircraft. One bomb. A death toll that dwarfs Towton, Canny, Antietam, and the first day of the Somme combined, delivered not over hours of grinding combat, but in a single blinding flash. Hiroshima didn't just end a war. It ended an entire era of what a single day could mean in warfare. Every battle on this list before it was defined by how many men one army could kill with rifles, artillery, and blades. Hiroshima proved that one weapon, one moment, could outkill all of them. And the verdict. The number one deadliest single day in the history of warfare, and the day the rules of war changed forever. 5 days. Different centuries, different weapons, different reasons for fighting. But each one reshaped how the people who survived it understood what war was capable of. Towton showed medieval Europe that a single afternoon could gut a generation. Cannae gave the ancient world a tactical nightmare that military strategists still study today. Antietam forced America to see, in photographs, exactly what it was doing to itself. The Somme proved that courage alone couldn't survive a machine gun, and Hiroshima erased the line between soldier and civilian entirely, in the space of one flash of light. Here's the verdict. As terrible as each of these days was, they got progressively less about the battlefield and more about the button. The trend isn't slowing down. So here's the question. As weapons keep getting more powerful and battles keep getting shorter, do you think humanity is more or less likely to see a day this deadly again? Tell me where you land in the comments.